How's it going, y'all? Go ahead and we're about to get started pretty soon. Let me know if you can hear me first of all. Just leave me.
How's it going, y'all?
Oh,
Go ahead
never
and
mind. I can hear myself. Here, we're gonna get started in a little bit, but yeah, hope you guys are doing well. All right, I think it's about time we get started. First of all, how's everyone doing? I think we got a good amount of people here. Here we go. Three, two. Hold on, let me find my button. Where is it? Boom. Hello, everyone. If you're here, first let me know if you can hear me. That's gonna be the first thing we take care of. But how's it going, guys? It's just me today. I know. I miss Matt too. But I feel like this is kind of a personal episode, so it's okay for him to miss this one because yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if it's just because of this. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting all these wires Uh, so much has gone on the last couple weeks since we last talked. What was a big topic we talked about? I don't even know, but you know, we're here. That's all that matters. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me go ahead and plug. You guys know me. We gotta do some plugs. We gotta do some plugging. It is not a Cesco stream unless we're doing some plugging. And let's go ahead and discuss some stuff. First of all, in the chat there's a playlist for our what you call it, OTP versus highlights from our Bruno Mars versus The Weeknd versus. Really fun time, really fun putting it together. And I've just been honestly, those are the few videos that I've been watching back a good amount, just because it's like, it's a real reactions type video, so we never really do that, but here we are. Also, yeah, this is also the home of the official the official fight between Jose and Chip Fan. The super chat is ready for y'all whenever you're ready. I don't know how you're gonna do this. Again, Matt's not here, so I don't know if it's I don't know if Chip Fan's gonna be holding back here, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Hey man, I would absolutely love Matt to do a little thing, a little video for us. Couldn't make it tonight because he's actually in Cannes. Yep. That's what we're going with. He's gonna come back with a exclusive from The Idol, from Indiana Jones. Yeah. Well, I mean, as for me, the last couple weeks, they've been good, man. Just been trying to get the school thing done. If you guys haven't noticed, this page has been dead a little bit. Not gonna lie, for a couple minutes now, couple weeks, and that's just because I've been kind of busy with school. Let me know if you're going through the same things. If you're already done with finals week, then shit, man. Like, there you go. Congrats. Am I lagging a little bit? I feel like I'm lagging a little bit. Is that what's happening here? Sorry, y'all. Let me get all this taken care of. Okay. All right. Yeah. Little lag. Hold on. Let's see. Will this completely kill the stream? Let's find out. We good? Am I live? Am I back? Hold up. Okay. Are we even worse than before? My God. Anyways. Chip Fan. Whoa, new Instagram profile picture. What's up, man? What's this announcement? Let me hear this. Announcement. I'm very anxious to see what this is. Great. Your name, but with no spaces. Great. Anyways, I think that's a sign to just get started. All right, y'all. So, the topic of the day, as you can see by the title, everything dies. I'm wearing gray, not exactly black, but I feel like that's just, to symbolize it's not quite dead yet. We're in the process of it. Here we are. And starting off, man, with big news. The Death of The Weeknd is coming soon. He says, I'll pull up the quote, but basically he said The Weeknd, this next coming album is his last hurrah as The Weeknd. And you know what? Before we get into my thoughts of it, let me find that quote for you guys. All right. So this is according to Entertainment Weekly. He says, I'm going through a cathartic path right now to getting a time and a place where I'm getting ready to close the Weeknd chapter. I'll still make music, maybe as Abel, maybe as The Weeknd, but I still want to kill The Weeknd, and I will. eventually. I'm definitely trying to shed that skin and be reborn. And then later on goes on to say the album I'm working on now is probably my last hurrah as The Weeknd. This is something that I have to do as The Weeknd. I have said everything I can say. Wow. So yeah, that's crazy, right? That is well, you know what? It is crazy, but if you guys have stuck around this channel for a while now, you know that this isn't shocking news. Like, we kind of had a feeling for a while now. If you go check out our Down FM Explain video, that hey, like, it kind of feels like we're heading towards a place of finality with this weekend thing, like with this character. It's going all the way from trilogy, from House of Balloons, and going through Beauty Behind the Madness, Starboy, After Hours, obviously Dawn FM. It's probably like the album with the most character development. And then now here we are. We're going into the horizon, and or the afterlife. I don't know. So, you know, I feel like we're just if you're around here, if you're a thought, then you've just been you. But for everyone else, like that's so, I can't even imagine. You know, the final Weekend album. That's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Like, thinking about how far this guy's progressed, and as an artist, as a person, like, we're seeing him in a whole new light now versus the kind of mysterious shit that. And he even says in his video, or not in his video, in his one of his interviews, or no, it was on Twitter. He said that it was in response to. I think The Weeknd was just on Twitter, and someone said like, "Yo, are you just messing with us?" And he said, "No, like, you know, the mysterious shit has been played out. The mysterious artist kind of mystique, like that whole thing." And I agree, man. I think that, and you got to look at Frank Ocean, I think, as like the number one example of like, look, man, this whole thing where you're just gonna kind of pull your audience on this by a string, and just kind of, you know, constantly tease them a little bit, and then go back into the into, you know, the desert, like just never to be seen again. Like, that stuff is done now. Like, in order to really thrive in music and just entertainment industry, you kind of have to be, you know, around. You have to be catering to the fans. And I think what the Weeknd's been doing is like, hey, let me shed this Weeknd persona so I can finally show you my true self, you know, beyond just. And he's kind of talked about the struggles of it, where he was saying, there was a quote, he said, what was it that he said? He said, like, basically, people take my music, listen to my music, and think that I'm doing all this terrible stuff, like I'm drinking, I'm abusing drugs, when really I'm just at home playing with my dog. Like, that's, and you know, working and making music and all that stuff. So that makes sense to me, that he's finally at a point in his life where he's like, I don't want to be The Weeknd anymore. I don't know. As cool as a Weeknd character is, I wouldn't want to have that kind of label or like mask over me whenever I'm around places. So no, I think this is a perfect. It's funny. My dad, who I've mentioned a couple times on this podcast, amazing Weeknd arc he's gone on. Like, he has really become an EXO fan, starting from. I remember Can't Feel My Face. He was like, okay, this is interesting. He'd noticed that I would play it a lot, and he'd be like, all right. And then fast forward to After Hours, and he's like, all right, this guy's real. Like, Blinding Lights, In Your Eyes. My dad loves Rick Astley, and he always says the In Your Eyes reminds him of, say, like, you know, of Together Forever. By Rick Astley. If you guys heard that song, let me know. But yeah, and then now with Dawn FM, that's his favorite album, and he's been spinning that thing forever. So thank my dad for Dawn FM being as high on the streams as it is. And I remember one day he was telling me, hey man, like, I really feel like The Weeknd needs to kill off The Weeknd, like, or he needs to like change his name. And he asked me like, what's his real name? Abel, right? So yeah, he said that's a cool name. You should just release music as that. And I think that's where we're going. Obviously, is The Weeknd, what he's gonna, you know, maybe die, and that's another thing I want to get to. Before we get into all that, with this being the last Weeknd album, what do you think? What do you think he's gonna say with this next album? What is like the purpose of it? Because it being the After Hours trilogy, the After Hours album, it seemed like the that first block of lessons or story was like, hey, the Weeknd is toxic, you know, and kind of going through a couple different relationships, two of them, and showing like, okay, like this is how the Weeknd struggles with relationships and how he kind of has the wrong stuff to rely on, being drugs, which is what ends where Until I Bleed Out happens. And then he dies, he goes to purgatory, he has that bit of an existential crisis, has a moment of self-reflection, and seems to be on the path of getting better. And then it ends. It ends with him acknowledging he's less than zero, acknowledging that he's been a piece of shit, you know, for lack of a better term. So what is he gonna say with this one? So my idea is that I think that he's gonna try to spin it in a way where the Weeknd character has found peace, basically, like the Phantom Regret, as a Chip fan was about to perform. You got to be heaven to what is it? You got to. I keep thinking you got to be the man to beat the man, and I am the man. No, you got to. What is it? You got to be heaven to see heaven, and you know that's pretty. That's a pretty big thing for the Weeknd to do, judging from. So I think that I just said Dawn FM is the album with a lot of character growth, maybe the most in a Weeknd album. I think this one's gonna top that in terms of this next album, in terms of being, you know, progressing the Weeknd character. Because in order for him to find some sort of semblance of, you know, peace, of the afterlife, of goodness, because it seems like that's where we're going, then there's going to have to be some real changes, some real kind of acknowledgement of, you know, like what he's been going through and what his choices have been and all that stuff. So philosophically, I think I'm interested to see where that's going. And if you want to check out what in terms of, you know, the sound of it, I think go check out our last stream. We have a big old discussion about it. And then the next question I had for myself and for you guys as well. Like, what do you think the last Weeknd song is going to sound like? I know that's kind of a crazy thing to think about. The final Weeknd song, because that's acting like we're never getting a Weeknd song from him again. But if this Weeknd album is in fact his last hurrah, then outside of features, outside of Lucy's, outside of like certain singles, this next album could be the last Weeknd album, the last Weeknd song, you know. And that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Damn, man. The last Weeknd song. Let me tell you what I would think. I think I was listening to After Hours earlier, and I was thinking that could be, and also like keeping in mind Dawn FM. It seems that the second to last song is typically like the banger of the album, like the album, the song that really encapsulates everything that the album's going for. And you know, After Hours, the second to last song obviously being After Hours, you know, the titular song, my favorite Weeknd record of all time. The perfect kind of encapsulation of not only the After Hours album, but also the Weeknd character, you know, as a whole, which is incredible to think that he was able to channel so much of the Weeknd energy into that song. Really great. And then you go into Dawn FM, the second to last song being Less Than Zero, and that kind of being an emotional explosion of just self-acceptance, regret, so on and so forth, and but then that, you know, goes into Afterlife, Horizon. I'm gonna call it Horizon because that's where I'm leaning towards in terms of like what the title will be. Horizon. Ooh, I'm expecting the second to last song to be another kind of like cathartic explosion. He used that word in that quote. Very like very much an outpouring of just positive energy, and then maybe that last record, shoot, Mike, what if it's just like a poem, like he's been doing on the poem, and he obviously ends Don FM with a poem by Jim Carrey. But what if he actually gets on the mic and just starts talking to us like, hey, yo, like this Weeknd guy, he's done. Here I am. I'm reborn. Babel. Yo, Babel? Is Babel really happening, guys? If Babel, in case you guys don't know, I know you guys probably know, but let's recap for the people that are just tuning in for the first time. First of all, if it's your first time here, hello, what's up? But Babel, basically, if you go to the How Do I Make You Love Me music video, there's a whole thing about, limbs getting ripped off of him, and it's like a baby arm, and that's kind of that's like the remnant of him. And by the end of the music video, limbs are keep getting ripped off. At one point, his face comes off, and it's a baby. It's baby Abel. And our theory is that, yeah, like he will be reborn, as the Weeknd states. And to be honest, it was kind of a joke of just us being like, hey, Babel, he's gonna come out in a stroller for the next tour, for the European leg of his tour, and just start singing, how do I make you love me, after hours. And now that shit might be real, and that kind of goes into, I see Aiden in here. We've been chatting a lot about, what the next album would look like, sound like, would encompass. What if the next album cover is just a baby Abel, like looking right at the camera, just as, the other two albums have? So that would be interesting. In Afterlife, he's going to learn to love himself because he's always despised himself. It's going to be interesting. Like, what does that mean for the Weeknd to love himself? Like, is it going to be him? Is it him kind of moving past all that stuff and kind of finally finding a love? Because that's always been a big part of the Weeknd's character. I mean, go back, Die For You, fucking Trilogy. There's a lot of kind of songs there about the jadedness in love and the lack of love that he experiences. So I mean, like there's a lot of different ways. Also, just maybe some kind of just like respecting himself and doing things that maybe this Weeknd character has never done. I don't know. When I just said that just now, I'm like, what am I expecting the Weeknd to like make a song about? Finally filing taxes, doing laundry, folding his shirts, like getting an accountant and really like growing up. That maybe that could be a big thing is growing up and doing what. Because so far the Weeknd, all his kind of storylines have been, his storyline is comprised of just like him trying to find himself, trying to find him in other women, in drugs, all that stuff. So no, I definitely think that it could have something to do with some kind of change in like his value of himself. So I don't know, man, that could be really cool. He's always wanted to be an uplifting pop star, but society for yay. That's one thing I want to talk about, is that he has had this in the works for a while now. Like this has been cooking for a while. If you guys have seen like a bunch of the interviews over the years, he has been saying for a while, yeah, this Weeknd guy is a character. It's not me. I make dark art. It sounds like a Harry Potter thing. He makes dark art, channeling from some of his thoughts, but this isn't me. Like I'm not. And at some point I would like to graduate from that. So again, like this was just not, when the quote came out, this was not earth shattering, shaking. But it did move me it did move the needle that like, oh shit, he really acknowledged it. Like he really said it. Cause, it's going to sound really, this is going to sound like a little Make-A-Wish kid. I definitely have a list of questions that I would love to ask the Weeknd one day if I ever get to interview him. Well, if I ever get to, meaning it'll probably be me and Matt, because, oh man, recording a podcast with the Weeknd, me and Matt, just talking shit. That's the dream. But I do have a list of questions where I'm like, hey, what like what are your favorite animes? What are your favorite movies? But also, yeah, like the question was, hey, what's is this next album, Horizon Afterlife? Is this the end? Like, what is this the end of? Yeah, it's the end of the After Hours trilogy. Is it also the end of the weekend? And that's it's and he answered that. Like that's really cool, man. That's really great. Hey, if you want to see that, please bully Abel into into inviting us over. Lord knows we've been prepping for that for ever since After Hours deep dive. By the way, a little side note. Little side note. I'm gonna just give y'all a chance to real quick send me any questions, any talking points you guys want in the chat. But yo, I had the funniest experience in terms of this past week. I had a presentation where in my personal selling class, basically it's just like a class made to kind of give you confidence on how to sell yourself and how to market yourself. And we did a presentation of like, all right, now you got to present who you are, what you want to do as a career, like what are your strengths, all that stuff. And I had to kind of flex the stream and the podcast and our thoughts and all that stuff. OTP, had to flex. I flexed the After Hours deep dive and the weekend posting it, and man, it was so just like I felt like a fucking. I felt like a, I don't know. I was like, this is what must be what like Logan Paul feels like, just being just so douchey and just like, yeah. So I have these amount of subscribers and we edit videos every now and then, and we've gotten this. So no, it's been a very interesting. That was a very interesting experience, but there were a couple weekend fans like in my class, which I was like, because I mentioned like, hey, I was editing this video for Don FM. He ended up liking it. Yo, I got some reactions from the people being like, oh, The Weeknd, Don FM. I mentioned like concept album, big story, all that stuff, and I got some snaps, all that stuff. It was a cool little experience seeing everyone. They're very pretty too. Anyways, I know. Is it lagging like crazy? It's probably getting some crazy screenshots right now. It's crazy screenshot potential. Okay, this is a discussion that's really interesting. Okay. Another Aiden again said, it's crazy how Abel is basically now on the same legend status as artists like Elvis and MJ. That's interesting, and I always kind of hesitate before saying that because I don't know if there's a phrase, the world is bigger than your timeline. And especially because Twitter, obviously, and social media in general, they all kind of tailor your experience to you. So we're all kind of living in our own separate worlds with regards to what we get on our phones, So what may be constantly relevant and popular to you may not exactly be, the case for everybody. But with that said, though, like, this is real, man. Like The Weeknd is the pop star of the moment. I think obviously talent wise, Bruno Mars has the chops and has the status and the talent, and I even mentioned, what am I not mentioning, the charisma, all of that stuff. But sorry, am I can you guys hear me? Am I like, is the audio okay at least? Okay. Anyways, but Bruno Mars is not he's not always relevant. He kind of goes into that Kendrick Lamar, he follows that Kendrick Lamar line of thinking where I'm going to give you this music and I'm just going to disappear. Again, like I'm talking about the mysterious music stuff, maybe not as much of a curtain or a drape blocking him from the view, versus The Weeknd. Like, he is just constantly in the news cycle, constantly doing something, whether it's the Avatar 2 music video, whether it's the Idol, whether it's the soundtrack for the Idol, whether it's a new album. There's just a lot, and it's really cool that we get to, that we have some sort of place in XO and in the Weeknd's community that people love to hear and talk about. So with that being said, the Weeknd is absolutely, I think, the moment. Like whatever that means, the moment. He is that. I think he's definitely become sort of he's occupying that space that Michael Jackson did. Like for example, just like I said, always being relevant. Whenever he drops, it's really like, yo, it's the Weeknd. Like there's never a moment. I'd say the one thing that kind of came and went for me was what might have been the Die For You remix. But that's just me, and I think that I think it just left a lot to be desired. To be honest, I think it was just like a cash grab. But you tell me, like for example, the Mike Dean album, that was some beautiful music. In there, and very different, but still really good. And a lot of people were able to see like, yo, this is kind of the Weeknd doing the synth stuff, doing the his name trilogy stuff, but like totally like unabashedly, like with the Weeknd character, he's got to kind of figure out how to make it pop hits because he's trying to boost that Weeknd persona as much as he can. But you know, that could be what we get from Abel, is like the more experimental stuff. I don't know. Here, I got a question for y'all. Does the Weeknd, if when the Weeknd character ends, is finished, is Abel gonna lean more pop or more experimental? Let's ask that question. More pop, more experimental. Okay, just left the poll in the chat for you guys. Okay, the Abel modeling era, finally. I just know you love those recent pictures that came out. That's funny. I disagree a bit. You look at, so this is recurring in the chat. I disagree a bit. You look at Abel's career and see how far he's come. The records he's broken are up there with legends. I think we just don't say it because we compare these artists to legends. I think that's one of the downsides of this era is the cash grab. While other artists back then didn't care about cash grabs. I think there are definitely artists back then that cared about cash grabs, but I think that we've just the curtain's been peeled back a lot so that audiences kind of know now when it's an obvious cash grab, because of social media, because of technology, media stuff. So I think there definitely was a lot of cash grab. I mean, you watched the Elvis movie, you know that his residency was mainly done because of a cash grab from his manager. So it's definitely still there. I think, though, the big thing, you can compare, my thing with comparing people to legends, especially with regards to music, The Weeknd, Bruno Mars, they're incredible. They're really great. I do hesitate sometimes with saying, people say like they're better than MJ, or like they have more relevance than MJ. There's a lot of discussion with this with like Beyonce. They're saying Beyonce's more of everything, more MJ but more. And look, I'm a fan of Beyonce. The performances have been amazing. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a video where her dress literally changes as a light kind of travels down her body, and just like the dress completely changes. She's performing with horses as background dancers. She's performing with a bunch of stuff like robot arms. But I have trouble putting anybody above Michael Jackson with regards to the streaming stuff. Like now I can just play your music whenever I want. Whereas back then it's like, if I didn't have you on vinyl, if I didn't have you on radio, you're kind of an underground act. So with that being said, for Michael Jackson to be able to, or Elvis or whatever, to to be able to have that amount of fame, world renowned fame, without phones is, it's definitely a big factor. Uh, but with that being said, I think the weekend is definitely it is definitely approaching that status. I really feel like we just need that longevity, and I think we need some more. I mean, not that he isn't hasn't done it for longer already, but just more. Honestly, he just keeps if he just keeps doing what he does. I'm very excited to see what the conversation around the weekend's gonna be like, because he, you know, as Kay says here, I feel like he unintentionally makes pop music. Like, even if it wasn't made to be pop, so many people love it that it defaults to pop. I feel that I totally agree 1000%. He said, there's a Zane Lowe interview that I constantly cite, where he was like, "Hey, you got to make pop cool. Like, you can't if you really want to be an artist, you don't you can conform to trends, but don't make that your whole thing. Like, what I want to do is make something that's actually cool, and hopefully people catch on to it." And he did that. I think of, if you think about where pop was before the weekend was like, what was really pop in like 2011, it was kind of stale, kind of formulaic. The name I'm thinking of right now is like Katy Perry type music. I'm sorry if there's any any kind of Katy Perry fan. I don't know why you're here if you're a Katy Perry fan. Um, but then the weekend came in and not introduced, but helped popularize that darkness. And then with recent years, kind of bringing back that 80s synth stuff. That's really cool. And obviously it was cool enough that a lot of people latched onto it. So much so that Blinding Lights ended up becoming the most streamed song of all time. That's great. That's really cool, man. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's kind of like, to be able to live like that as an artist. I'm sure that's so fulfilling, to be able to say, like, yeah, I made no compromises. I did what I wanted, and it ended up really moving the needle, like really, really moving the needle for a lot of people. And now he's a worldwide brand, and now he's going on tours around Europe and Asia, and selling out every single arena, every single stadium in the US. That's, that's the weekend, man. Zero compromises. Zero compromises. That's the one thing that I really admire. Up until up until recently, though, because he's kind of, he's had that the Die For You stuff, and certain moments where you're like, okay, the NFT from 2020, if you guys remember that. It's just, but he's still the weekend. And I like I said, to, I think when that whole the Die For You stuff was happening, I trust that when he's in album mode, he will come back to like the weekend that I know. So no, you should here. Let's see what. Oh, I see what. All right, so the results are in for the poll I just said in the chat here. What's Abel gonna do after the weekend? Is he gonna be more pop? Is he gonna be more experimental? You guys say more experimental, and I agree. I think, like, imagine what an Afro beats weekend song would sound like. Think of, obviously Renaissance. I think of Honestly Nevermind by The Weeknd. That would be really interesting. Also, I think that would be really sexy. That'd be really cool. Like, I remember on playback TV, Kay and I think we're listening to Passion Fruit, like a Passion Fruit Weekend AI. And it was really interesting, because I'm like, man, hearing The Weeknd on that kind of smooth of a song is so different. So I'm gonna need to check that out. I hope that he really tries like every single genre, to be honest with you. Also, real quick, I'm thinking about doing way more playback streams this summer. I'm telling y'all, I am telling you guys, once I get done with school, we're about to do so much stuff here on our thoughts. Like I have a video already in the works that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. It's gonna cover a lot of different things, a lot of different things. A jazz Abel song would be great. Yeah. So real quick, I just put in the chat. Go ahead and follow us, playback.tv. That's where we can watch and listen to stuff together. Like our OTP verses, Bruno Mars, stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, the weekend. When am I done with school? Next week. Next week is my last week of school. Bruh, I'm I'm on the verge of death right now. I'm so excited though. I'm gonna be in LA for the summer, so if you know where Matt lives, you know that we're gonna be in the same area. We're gonna be doing our thing. So hopefully, man. I don't know. This dude is so busy. He's so busy. So at the very least, you're gonna be seeing a lot of me more often on Our Thoughts podcast. But yeah, man. When is the summer playlist coming out? Okay. Don't tell Matt, guys. But if you're here right now, it's because you're a real one. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the playlist for y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the soft launch of now that's what I call an Our Thoughts Summer Volume 2. In case you guys don't know, we did something like this. We did this exact thing last year, and basically it's our ability, it's our kind of it's our responsibility to help curate some vibes for the summer, and that's what we want to do. So yeah, right now there's 50 songs in there. 50 songs, bangers, R&B classics, rap joints, some throwbacks, some chill vibes. Basically we're operating under the assumption that if you just keep hitting shuffle on this, now that's what I call an Our Thoughts Summer playlist, you'll find something you like. So go ahead, check that out, that playlist out, give it a like, and we're gonna keep coming back to this playlist. We're gonna keep adding songs to it. We tried to, on the last one, on the first volume, we did 100 songs, and that was like our cap. I think we're gonna do that. Right now it's at 50. We're halfway there, so go ahead, check that out. It's a really great playlist. I've been listening to it on my commute. So yeah, no, that's the soft launch, the super soft launch. Next week when we're streaming and Matt, and we're like, hey, Matt, let's launch the Our Thoughts. Just act like this is the first time that you guys are hearing about this. So yeah, Our Thoughts Summer. Yo, it's Our Thoughts Summer, y'all. That's I'm so excited, guys. So excited. Anyways, The Weeknd. Have we talked enough about The Weeknd? What do you think? I know some of you guys will never be able to talk enough about The Weeknd. But Gaming with Dream says, speaking of MJ, I don't know why, but I feel like Afterlife, The Weeknd might start dancing. He knows how to a little. He's become more confident with it when he hits his MJ foot shovel. You know what? Are you expecting The Weeknd to be like popping and locking and doing all that stuff? Because I don't think that's. I don't think that's just who he is. I think he doesn't. He won't have like the dance breakdowns that Bruno Mars has, that Beyonce has. So that's just me though. That's just me. The summer belongs to XO and Our Thoughts, baby. It's gonna be a fun summer. Yeah. So, anyways, let's before we get into a couple other deaths this this stream, let's stay in music realm, because after this we're gonna go into a couple other things, and I don't know if you guys are here for that, but let's talk about some new music that dropped recently. Let's talk about KAYTRAMINE. KAYTRAMINE. If you guys don't know, KAYTRAMINE is a collab album between KAYTRANADA, who you may have heard of, and Amine, who you may have heard of as well. They collabed on a great album. It's a really great album. It's like a house rap, very much LA vibes. Like you can play this album and just picture yourself driving down LA, palm trees all over the place, dude getting mugged over there, food truck, delicious food truck on the left side. Um, oh, Joe Cool, yo, hey, yeah, there is actually. If you want the link again, I'll send it to you. Yeah, there it is. There's Our Thoughts Summer Volume 2. Go check that out. Literally just launched like a second ago. But yeah, really great album. I for me it really cements Amine as like one of the most consistent rappers of all time, of today. And also he's just so lyrical with it too, like the so punchliney, like that's the kind of rapping I love, where little references, little digs, little, you know, fun wordplay, like that's the kind of stuff I like. I enjoy the super deep methodical Kendrick rhyming rap schemes, where every fourth bar is a callback to the last, like all that stuff is great, the technical stuff is great, but I just love good wordplay. I love the poetry aspect to rap. So Amine is one of those, and then KAYTRAMINE, the beat goes crazy, man. Like every single record is just banger after banger, and different vibes too. Like you have the reflective type, you know, like I'm just chilling at the end of the dock, at the end of the bay kind of thing. You also have the belligerent, braggadocious stuff. You also get, you know, just some classic house. But yeah, let's see. Oh, some of the features on this surprised the hell out of me too. You got Freddie Gibbs, Pharrell, Big Sean, Snoop is on there. Amare has a great feature on there on Sauce Up. But if I were to, real quick, just recommend one song, if you guys haven't listened to KAYTRAMINE or Amine, I would probably recommend. I'd probably recommend either Let's Talk About It or Master P, just because those two records are just hits, and it just perfectly encapsulates KAYTRAMINE. Another album I want to talk about. I kind of went through a bit of a duality of man moment, because another album that dropped recently, Summer Walker. Whew. I don't know what the vibe is on Summer Walker for you guys, but I really enjoy that type of R&B. Very soft, very but also very blunt, and very, you know. So yeah, Summer Walker, Clear 2 Soft Life EP, really great. It starts off, the very first song like takes you by surprise, and I'm not gonna spoil why, but you're just like, whoa, this is different. It's also it's a hug almost, like it really is like an audio hug, as the title discusses. Like it feels nice, very warm, very very pleasant. And then the rest of the album, it's a very mature R&B. It's like, if you guys like Erykah Badu, if you guys like kind of the neo soul scene, Ari Lennox, like it's kind of like that. The It's a little more mature. Childish Gambino's got some great features on there. A great feature on there. He's rapping. I was expecting him to sing, you know, Summer Walker, R&B. He has a beautiful voice, but he was kind of chill, laid back, doing a little deep voice rap. So I, you know, enjoyed that as well. And then lastly, this Anderson .Paak Aiden, that is crazy. The Whole Day. Daydreaming. No worries, Anderson .Paak, y'all. You guys have to watch the music video. Go watch the music video. I would if I could, but obviously this stream will get taken down. But after the stream, go check out the Daydreaming No Worries Anderson .Paak video. It's basically, it is done entirely on GTA 5. And it's funny because I also did. Huh. Can I? Okay. How about this, y'all? How about I show you? Will this stream get taken down? So what I was gonna say. Sorry, I should probably complete my thought. I, in case you don't know, GTA 5. There's like a mode where you can make movies or say a music video, and you can implement a song and then just record a moment, a sequence, and then cut to different angles, and yeah, just like I said, make a music video. I made a music video to to Backstreet Boys, uh tell me why it ain't nothing but a heart, that song. And let me, you know what, we'll save that for the end of the stream, just in case things do end up shutting down here. But yeah, we got that to look forward to. Anyways, so after this, I will show you a music video that I completely produced and made, set to Backstreet Boys. So let's do that. Anyways, right now, we're going to transition into something a little different here. And this is my first time kind of talking about this, I think, like for real, like diving into it. I want to talk about some Marvel movies. The Marvel movies, I think, have really been an interesting thing to talk about. I know like last stream I was just saying like I don't like to talk about it because the discourse is kind of annoying. Everyone, I will be honest, Matt is very much a very anti-Marvel. He's a film buff to the highest degree. But you know, you need people like that, like some nerdy, snobbish people to kind of remind you like, no, this is what the real world is like with the film industry, all that stuff. But also, I just like enjoying stuff. I'm a kid. I'm a 12-year-old in a oh shit, 24-year-old's body. Fuck, so old. But yeah, I want to talk about the Marvel movies because I recently, hold on, let me switch over to a screen here. Hopefully that'll lag less. I recently got a chance to watch Guardians Volume 3, and I really enjoyed it, man. It was, let me pull up the chat here on my phone because I can't see. All right, let's talk about it. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was a goddamn masterpiece. I really love James Gunn. Him as a director, his voice, his ability to make his voice and to make him as a person into a into a package of 2 hours where, you know, anyone can enjoy it. Families, older people, college kids, high schoolers, and he can make it so emotional for everybody. You know, that's really incredible. You know, and if we just got done talking about The Weeknd, like that's definitely a skill that The Weeknd has, is the ability to take his thoughts and this character, maybe not it's not him personally, but this Weeknd character, and to make it something that everyone can enjoy. And that's how you get songs like Out of Time, Blinding Lights, Less Than Zero, songs that are super accessible. And if you think about, and I've recently had the chance to go back and check out some of James Gunn's other stuff, Slither. He recently made a Peacemaker series for Peacemaker on DC. That's really great. And that's where you get to see him more unfiltered. But when he goes back to Marvel, you're like, wow, he can really make a damn blockbuster. A damn good blockbuster. So with Guardians 3, I'm going to try to keep it spoiler-free, Matthew David. I don't know. I'll speak a little bit spoiler-free, and then I'll let you know when it's time to tune out. Guardians 3 is just a perfect ending. How I've heard someone describe it is that Guardians is in the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the MCU is not in Guardians, and that is, and that's really true because there's no like random character that shows up and you're expected to just know him. Even though I enjoy that stuff, I enjoy being like, oh shit, I know that dude, but no, there was not really any just like random cameos or like world building moments. Just because this was the story uh was saving each other. It's saving the galaxy. It's doing all that stuff, and that to me is really well done. I think that's what we've lost. The Marvel movies have kind of lost is like, can we just tell a story? Like, can we not just can this not be a setup to Kang Dynasty, which I'm excited for. I do love all that stuff. I am a big comic fan, so I do enjoy the storytelling of like, here's a pretty good story now, but it's only going to pay dividends in the story that's going to happen 2 movies from now. 5 movies from now in terms of Kang Dynasty. But when it comes to film, to movies, how people traditionally think of it as this movie is the story. This is it. Like this, what are you going to do with those 2 hours that you're giving us? And I think Guardians 3 was just like an emotional punch to the nuts. An emotional punch to the nuts and throat that really hurt in the best way possible. There are some scenes in here that are very, like, you can feel them manipulating you, like not just tugging at the heartstring, but straight up like boom, you know. Like there's a lot of stuff. I will say, if you're squeamish about like animal abuse stuff, I don't know if I would watch this, because you will cry your heart out. But if that's what you like, if you enjoy being emotional like that in a movie, I know I am. I know I love. I love when movies can make me cry. I don't know if I'm just weird, but if a movie can make me cry, I'm like, yo, this is I'm being moved. That's something that, it's an experience that you should really cherish. Is like, wow, this thing, I connected to it, and I was able to kind of put myself in there in the shoes, and it ended up really making me emotional, and I love that. But then also, like, it really makes you laugh and really makes you feel it gives you joy too. As much as it's very sad, it's also euphoric in some scenes. It's also very comedic. Like, I you know what, I think one of the biggest compliments I can give this movie is that, as much as it was a grand finale, there are moments in this where it feels like you're just with the Guardians on another mission. Granted, it's a very big mission, but there are scenes where you're like, damn, man, like, I'm just part of the crew, and you're just seeing that back and forth. Like Dave Bautista, oh my God. I've been doing a little. I was telling Curry about this. I've been really digging into a lot of wrestling lately, WWE, and Bautista is just like one of those dudes, man. Like, he has one of the best storylines. There's a reel of it. If you guys want to check out, watch Dave Bautista, Triple H, full like storyline, whatever. It's just like a reel of all of his whole storyline with him and Triple H, and him kind of starting off as a villain and then becoming the ultimate face, or hero to the crowd. And he has this moment. I'm just gonna do a little motion. If you know, you know. Yeah, very charismatic guy, and I think he channels that here so well. I think I'm about to get to spoiler alert, because I think I'm doing spoilers now. When someone says to him, I think it was Nebula, says, "You're no longer Drax the Destroyer, you're Drax the Dad." I was like, wow, that's very powerful, and a really great way to end his arc, because I think for me, And I'm sure a lot of people, the big thing about Drax is that throughout the movies, especially in the movies with the other directors, he is powered down and like treated as a joke. We're introduced to him in Guardians 1, and it's like, yo, he is like powerful, he's courageous, he's heroic. He has his own tragic backstory, to try and kill Thanos, all that stuff. And then Guardians 2, he becomes a little bit of a comic relief, but then you still sense that like great sadness in him. And then in Infinity War and Endgame, he's literally just like cast aside. He's just like one of the side characters to the Avengers main storyline. And I love Endgame. I love Infinity War. They're all great movies, but I do wish Drax got a little bit more love. So no, that is I fuck with that. Who's another character? Rocket. Rocket obviously has one of the best storylines in this whole MCU thing. So I'm very happy that he was given the backstory, the intro to him as him like who he is, what he is, and how it pays off with him. I said spoiler alert, right? With him finally accepting he's a raccoon, I think that's very beautiful. Is like the idea of like finding yourself and rejecting it, hating it, throughout the whole Guardians MCU series. He's been like, hey man, don't call me a raccoon. Like, that's not what I am. And for him to finally accept that, I think that's really beautiful. That's such a beautiful message to give to one of the most rugged characters right now. So yeah. Okay. Okay, if you could play any, if I could play any Marvel character, I guarantee you I'm not playing any. I'm probably, best case scenario, the MCU is casting me as just like guy in chair number 4. But damn, you're asking who would I want to play? Shoot. Like like I don't get the powers, but I'm like the actor playing. Okay, I'm just gonna go like who's like the coolest person. I would want to be fucking Daredevil. Like that is cool. Because first of all, he's kind of a normal guy, so I can realistically play that. He's also blind. I think that's always cool. If you guys watch like John Wick 4, blind characters are just blind characters who are capable. I mean, I guess not just blind, but also just like generally handicapped characters that are able to hold their own and in some cases be better is always such a cool thing to portray. So I would probably want to be Daredevil. And also like that fucking aesthetic of like, hey, yo, the nighttime and all that stuff. There's a really, really, really sick House of Balloons edit to the Netflix Daredevil series. So I'm really excited. Hey, Darren, don't play with me, bro. Beyonce featuring Kendrick Lamar. Get the fuck out of here. I'm about to kick you out right now. No kitchen. Hey, someone tell in the chat. I don't have access to typing in the chat right now, but just someone tell Chip Fan no. Because what I want to say next is very much a spoiler. So the ending. I really, really thought, oh, Star-Lord. Star-Lord's another character because I definitely project a lot onto him in terms of like just the way he's always listening to music to hype himself up or during big events. Because I'm like that. I will go through things just like earphone, AirPod in hand, in ear, and just be blasting my music. Dawn FM is like a big comfort album. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I got a real quick vinyl show and tell for you guys right after this. Right after this Guardians thing. The ending for the movie. Look, man, I was really looking and seeing I was trying to read in between the lines and read the tea leaves, and I really thought maybe everyone dies at the end of Guardians Volume 3. Maybe everyone goes out together. There's the scene in Guardians 1 where they're talking to each other, and it's like, hey, it would be a real pleasure to die with you guys because, you know, you guys are my friends. You guys are courageous people. It'd be an honor that if I were to lose, you know, to go down swinging, basically, to go down as a hero. And I'm like, what a beautiful way to end the series, you know, for them to kind of go down together and then inspire maybe a new batch of Guardians that carries on the name. That would be a cool ending. But I think what we got here, and I think you guys, you Weeknd fans, will appreciate what I'm about to say and will recognize what I'm saying. That ending where it's everyone. First of all, everybody lives, and but everyone goes their separate ways. Star-Lord goes to Earth. Mantis goes to do her own thing. Nebula becomes the president of her little town. Damn, I'm just rattling off spoilers. So if you forgot, if Chip Fan just randomly unmuted, you know, Drax obviously stays behind. So I thought that was really beautiful, and to see them all dancing, having a good time, I felt like it was a beautiful kind of euphoric moment of like, hey, you, the viewer, like, you went through so much pain, just like these characters did. You witnessed them go through so much pain. Let's give you guys a scene where they're just having a good time. They're just laughing, dancing to Florence and the Machine. Really great 2000 song. The first modern song, you know, that's played in some of these movies. Really appropriate time for that. Very much, again, just me being a Weeknd fan, it felt very Less Than Zero-esque to me, of just like that kind of just like upliftingness I really enjoyed. And yeah, I thought that was a very perfect way to end the story. Obviously, there's a lot of ways this could have gone, but I think giving them at a certain point, you're just throughout the movie, I don't know if you guys felt this too, you guys watched it, he's like, you're just kind of like, I don't want anyone to die. So I'm glad they gave us that. So yeah, all in all, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, very great movie. I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10. I feel like I've been giving a lot of 10s lately, but Guardians 3 deserves it. All right, someone called Chip Fan out in here because I'm about to start talking about the MCU as a whole, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to avoid spoilers. So go ahead, let Chip Fan bring Chip Fan back in here. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to me is here, let me know when Chip Fan comes in. See, it's kind of crazy how everybody dies. No, so tying back into the title of the stream. Guardians to me, if the MCU ended here, I would be sad. Obviously, like, I love Marvel movies, but also, like, I'd be like, what a way to go out, and I feel like I got what I needed. But it's just like, man, the other stuff has been very underwhelming lately. I think that's kind of been a general. I promise, yo, I'm not that guy that's like, oh, everything has been so lackluster, so I really try to appreciate everything. I try to appreciate, you know, like, I really enjoyed WandaVision, obviously. I enjoyed a lot of Phase 4, which I think is where a lot of people kind of have fallen off, or just kind of soured on MCU. You know, love Black Panther 2, love No Way Home. I know people are going to turn on that movie. Maybe they already have, I don't know. But I am always going to enjoy that movie for just the feelings it gave me, the way that it kind of brought Spider-Man back to, like, who we know him as in the comics. Very big coming of age story. But with all that said, man, like, I've definitely felt a bit of that superhero fatigue. And that's tough for me to say because I love these Marvel movies, bro. Like, for real, love these movies. Darren, I'm gonna get to your question in a second. Love Marvel movies, but to me, when movies like Quantumania and Thor: Love and Thunder come out, and it's all people will talk about, it kind of, and it's all about just like pointing out all the negatives. It starts to leave a sour taste in my mouth. It starts to ruin my experience because it's like all I can think of is like, oh, and I try not to let other people take away from my experience. That's why I try not to talk about it. But with that being said, I'm here talking about it. So what I have to say is, yeah, I have also felt a bit of like a Quantumania. I can chill off that. Like I normally Quantumania might have is the first Marvel movie that I didn't go watch in theaters, and I'm about to go watch it tonight on Disney Plus and see. And apparently it's fine. It's cool. I enjoy the Ant-Man movies. But yeah, no, I think for me the MCU has kind of started to run into a lot of the problems that just the medium of comic books have. Is in comic books, every issue is supposed to lead into the next one, you know? Because it's kind of like television, where every episode, you're not just getting like like a you're not getting a confined story start to finish. You're getting an episode of this person's life, and you're kind of going through that. You experience that. You see how they respond, and then you go back to the status quo and see, okay, like what is the next situation that they're going to throw themselves into. And I think that the Marvel movies have started to kind of get a little like, okay, what the next adventure? Okay, the next adventure, and I like that. I enjoy like we're just witnessing another adventure in Thor's life, in Ant-Man's life. But I'd say then make a Disney Plus series with those characters. Like give me a Thor Disney Plus series. I would love a Spider-Man Disney Plus series. Like imagine that, just being able to hang out with Peter Parker in high school, in college, I guess now he's in college, and just being able to like chill, you know? So yeah, damn, the full Govey. Why are we Matthew Magnum? So where I'm at is the MCU dead? No, but it is starting to lose a lot of. I'm starting to lose a little bit of what my enthusiasm for. No, not that's not real. I was very excited for Guardians 3, as you can see, and I've really enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. My God, oh, the soundtrack on that movie. Oh, I'm telling y'all, if I could start a podcast, it would just be we would just be talking about movies, like Marvel movies, because I live and breathe this shit. I love it, even though Matt doesn't, so that's why we don't talk about it. Blame him. But I don't know. I think for me, it's when the filmmakers, James Gunn had a quote about this because he's about to go into the DC universe. He's about to be the head of that, and then also he's about to direct the new Superman movie. And they asked him like, "Do you think superhero fatigue is a thing? Do you think that's a real thing?" And he gave like a really complex answer that I really agreed with. And he said, "Hey, superhero fatigue is real because filmmakers don't put the care that they should put into it." Yeah, when the third act is, you just know it's gonna be a bunch of explosions and a bunch of godlike figures just punching each other and all that stuff, you start to feel a little tired of that. And and when you know that it's just like the hero moment when he's gonna, find the inspiration and finally beat the villain, like when you know that's coming, and you know it's just gonna be a flurry of CGI, that's when you get things like superhero fatigue. But if you get a director that really cares about the product, that really makes good shit, and that understands like the heart that has to go into it, the character work, all that stuff, that's when you can hopefully uh, bypass all that stuff if you just make good movies. And I just think the MCU lately hasn't been making good movies. They've been making good they've been making good lore and good comic book experiences. But as for a good movie, I think that's where they're gonna need to how long until good characters become the new fatigue though? See, I don't think if you good characters doesn't necessarily mean a certain thing. It's just like if you make good characters in terms of like they're very entertaining to watch, they bring something new, something different, a new perspective. They're very intricately written. Then that's when you get moments of like for me, my personal favorite trilogy besides the Guardians movies have been the Captain America movies because you follow this guy who's like altruistically good in the best possible way, and his whole thing is being the ideal man. For him to constantly be meeting with government figures that suck and that he doesn't agree with, and for him to constantly be like, fuck the man, that's some good shit. That's some good story work, and for that to like manifest in different ways, and that's how you get like Winter Soldier, Civil War. That's an example of like good characters like constantly kind of finding new struggles. But yeah. Okay, let's get to that question. Also, by the way, there's a shot in this movie. Chip fan, this isn't going to be a spoiler. I'm just going to say it's not going to be a spoiler, I promise. There's a shot in this movie with Adam Warlock where he kills everybody. It's crazy. No, where he's like flying through a bunch of debris. Hey, Jose. Hey, man. Jose. I'm just saying, are we starting it now? Are we... Is this happening? There's a shot in this movie with Adam Warlock and he's flying through things. And you're like, man, Superman Legacy is going to be so fucking good, bro. I'm telling you. This thing, Superman movies... there have been more misses than hits. Like Superman 1 with Christopher Reeve, 2 Man of Steel, I'm just kind of But if you want to say it's good, sure. So that's 3 out of like 9, 3 out of 8 or 9 movies. I think Superman definitely needs like his movie, and his movie where he's a hero, like he's an actual hero. I hate the Injustice Superman. Well, it's great. Don't get me wrong. Injustice is great, but I hate what it's done to the character because now it's like, oh, the only way to make Superman interesting is to make him an evil, conflicted character who does bad stuff and then tries to say it's him doing good. No, like the best versions of Superman are the ones that are nice, good people, value life, all life, and is there for you even when the aliens aren't invading. Like he's not just there for us when shit is going down. He's also there for us when we just need like a shoulder to cry on kind of thing. So that's my kind of hope for what Superman Legacy will be, is exploring why that is good. Again, talking about Captain America, that is like the stuff I'm talking about, where you just know that his morals are so like set, and it's a matter of pushing against that. The world is going to be pushing against his morals. How does he respond to that? So yeah, man. I don't know what Cesco, make sure that money goes to Matt. I don't know, man. Do you? I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get something that I want to discuss. A little vinyl show and tell. We're about to do it. Yeah. Here. Give me uno segundo, por favor. Oh man, this is a good one. If you guys followed me on Instagram, then you guys know what this is about to be, ladies and gentlemen. New vinyl came in. Hold on. Boom. New vinyl dropped. Very excited about this one. This is a personal favorite of mine. Yeah. The Weeknd's My Dear Melancholy. I probably should have talked about this earlier when we were talking about The Weeknd, but yeah. Came in, I ordered it a couple weeks ago. Apparently it was only available for like 15 minutes. I just so happened to be in those 15 minutes. Hold on. The ring light is kind of messing me up here. But as you can see, there's a track list. Oh, and then there's a face, another set of eyes. But no, man, this right here, this right here is one of the saddest albums of all time. I've been listening to it. I spun it like 4 times, I think, in the last 2 days. And that's just been the mood I've been in. It's kind of crazy is that this was mastered in Austin, Texas. My ex lives in Austin, Texas. So that's kind of crazy that the sad album about heartbreak and breakups and relationships that and girlfriends that, you know, messed you up emotionally and didn't bother to care and you know, just thought of me as a pit stop and wasted my time. Happens to be pressed and mastered in Austin, Texas. But I miss her though. Anyways, yeah. I was blasting this album, and I was just like, man, this is another great entry into The Weeknd's storyline, man. Yeah, no, I love Texas. All that being said, I love Texas. You guys have the most amazing food. The Southern hospitality thing is real. But yeah, what did I want to say? Oh yeah, I also wanted to pull up the vinyl because obviously the vinyl has its label, and I don't know. We'll see if it picks up, but the vinyl has a label. But also on the other end, because it's only 6 songs, it is Abel's face like imprinted onto the vinyl. I hope you guys can see that, but yeah, there's the eyes right above where my finger is. Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's really cool. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the hell out of this. Real quick, give me, everyone in the chat, tell me your favorite My Dear Melancholy song, because in listening to this, man, I know it's become a TikTok song and like a Riz God song, but my God, I Was Never There is incredible. It hits so hard. If you've, like, the first lyrics, what makes a grown man want to cry? What makes him want to take his life? And then you go into that incredible beat breakdown. You know what? This is convincing me that I need to do a video on My Dear Melancholy, because, man, going into the beat breakdown and then the lyrics during that like little bridge, you know, like, now I know what love is and I know it ain't you for sure. You'd rather something toxic, so I poisoned myself again. Like, that's some real heartbreak shit. Like, that is that, like, and that's what Aiden was talking about with like the lack of self-love, you know, is the fact that he's willing to poison himself again because he's willing to poison himself again just because this girl doesn't love him. Like, that's fucking messed up. But no, man, really enjoyed the listening to this album, listening to it on vinyl. Yo, I'm to be honest, like, to be annoying. Sorry, not to be honest, to be annoying. Like, vinyl is just different, man. Like, you just pick up on so many little things, like little notes, little background textures that you just don't feel on streaming. Or you maybe just because I think a lot of it is because we're listening to it on the go, so there's like a lot of things happening. Maybe we're not able to really like appreciate it. But nah, man, My Dear Melancholy ranks really high on my projects, on weekend projects. I think higher than most because I know people will like to take it down a peg just because it's only like 6 songs. But so all that to say, my updated ranking of weekend records is It's After Hours number 1. Oh yeah, After Hours number 1, Dawn FM number 2, Kissland number 3, and then it's here. It's My Dear Melancholy 4. Oh, and then Beauty Behind the Madness 5. Oh, y'all are about K is about to be so mad at me, and then the trilogy, then all of trilogy. Well, no, let's say House of Balloons and Thursday, Starboy, and then Echoes of Silence. So yeah, that is it. Am I forgetting one? No. My Dear Melancholy. Love My Dear Melancholy. Really happy I have it on vinyl. Waiting on the Kissland vinyl to come out. That's when I will be. I will feel like I have all the Infinity Stones. Because if I have the entire After Hours trilogy, and then, oh yeah, I need Kissland and Starboy, and then I have all the post trilogy albums. So that's kind of where I'm at with the vinyl collection. I know Matt's got a couple vinyls as well, so another vinyl show and tell for you next week. Yeah. Bro is the number 1 Dawn FM stan. Hey, I still am, bro. I am still a Dawn FM stan. I think it's just because I listened to After Hours like just now before hopping on stream, and that shit hit like a brick, like a truck of bricks. Is that what I want to say? Like a stack of bricks. So that's where I'm at. I think you know what? Musically, just I think part of it is because I know this next album is gonna be the last Weeknd album, but to me, After Hours is already the last Weeknd album of the Weeknd as we know it. So if we're talking about deaths, yeah, that's kind of like the last album of the Weeknd as we know it. The toxicity, the bangers, all that stuff. So yeah, no, I definitely. I'm definitely just kind of riding the high of it being the last Weeknd album. But Dawn FM is incredible. After Hours is my favorite album of all time. Bro, After Hours is gonna be After Hours is really gonna be like the Thriller of this generation. Like I know if you've been around here, we've said that a lot, so say it again for you guys. The day will come when you appreciate trilogy like the Truthers. Oh man, I really want to talk to Matt about this. He's a trilogy truther. Not about this, sorry, but there's something in my head that I just damn, like yo, I want to make so many videos this summer. I'm telling you, on God, I'm making so many videos for y'all. Chip fan. All right. New pinned comment alert. All right, guys. This one's gonna hurt, but let's get into another death in the family. I did get a new phone. Thank you for noticing. Yeah. Yeah, got a little iPhone Pro Max. I'm about to make some of the craziest videos y'all have ever seen. I'm very excited. And no, not those type of videos, Jose. Chip fan. Anyways. Let's talk about the goddamn Warriors. Man. First of all, congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations to fans of the LA Lakers for moving on, for beating the Warriors in 6, for moving on to the Western Conference Finals. You guys had a great game plan. You guys had an exceptional roster kind of turnover during the trade deadline. I think, whereas we kind of stayed still and just made very minimal moves, I think the Lakers really retooled their entire roster and tried to make it work. So, yeah, that's sorry. There you go. That's what I wanted to show y'all. So that's really great for the Lakers. You know, getting Jared Vanderbilt, getting Malik Beasley, Rui Hachimura at the trade deadline. All that is great. But so yeah, congratulations to the Lakers. But the conversation that stems from that is wait. Hold on. Sorry. Before we get into that. So going into the series, let me give you all a little like recap breakdown. My breakdown of the Lakers Warriors series. So game one was kind of a toss up, kind of a feel out game. Everyone was kind of trying to figure out how is this series going to go, and it ended up being a very close game by the end. Clay was shooting the shit out of the ball, and then it ended off with a big, as you can see, his face here, Jordan Poole, with a really tough, like 30-footer shot, and I'm like, why, bro? Literally, why? So close game that we let slip away, that we could have stolen at home, and then game two was very, very good game plan. We were able to outrun them, put Anthony Davis in big compromising situations where he's having to guard Steph from 30, 40 feet, and really like use up his legs. So we were able to run away with that game. Then game 3 and 4 is where it got a little hairy. So game 3 was sorry, I'm trying to remember what game 3 was like. But I think I'm forgetting game 3 because I remember game 4. Game 4, man, was so up for grabs. But Draymond wanted to be dumb, Clay wanted to be dumb, and also and then Steph was like great. Steph Curry, man, my Lord and Savior. That's one thing I'll say about the series as a whole. Steph Curry did his thing. Like he is, the numbers, the shooting efficiency wasn't there, but it's the playoffs. Everyone's going to be game planning. They were double teaming him like hell. But Steph, man, he did what he had to do. Rebounds, assists, scoring. He came through more times than not. Then you get into game 5 and 6. Game 5, we ended up winning. Game 6, obviously, just like a complete... All right, yo, let me get into story time. Game 6. I watched game 6. We were down 3-2. I watched game 6 in LA for a work trip. I called up Matt. I'm like, yo, I'm here in LA. Let's go watch this game 6 somewhere. And I was potentially going to watch it on playback TV, but Matt was like, no. So we went to a bar in LA. I'm decked out in Warriors gear. I'm tired from work earlier that day. It was just and I should have known it was gonna be all bad, because we were looking for a table and we were gonna get one, and they're like, oh, excuse me, yeah, that table's reserved. That's the Lakers side. Go head over there to the Warriors side, like outside. And I was like, okay, all right, for sure, yeah. And so we the game goes on, it starts. Matt and I, and Maya as well, we're all getting drunk. We got a couple margs in us, and we're just very nervous about how this game's going to go, because, man, the Warriors have never lost in a series with every single player healthy since 2014, like almost a decade. So for them to lose this series, it's like, man, that's big time. That signals something. I don't know what it signals. At that time, I didn't know what it signaled. But fast forward, we're just getting cooked. We're getting cooked. LeBron, who had maybe his worst series in his whole career, finally scores 30, gets a dunk, a block on Steph. AD is cooking, getting 20 rebounds. Clay's shitting the bed. my God, Game 6 Clay is so dead. That's over. Draymond is just chilling. Draymond's just chilling, and and Steph's shots weren't going in. So I was really, but I was asked Matt. I asked Matt like, yo, after everything had gone down, after I had reacted the way I had reacted, I asked him like, yo, real quick, like what was your preconceived notion of how I was gonna react, and how would you think? What did you think of how I reacted to the Warriors losing? And they're like, you know what? You're sad, obviously. Like I literally gave them like a 2 hour lecture on what I think is wrong with the Warriors right now. But they said, you don't sound surprised. You didn't seem surprised at all. Like it just seemed very like, damn. And then there's that, and then there's that. And to be honest, this really was expected from me and my brother. Man, y'all gotta convince Dom to hop on the stream. He'd be so funny. I my brother, OTP intern, he's a big Warriors nerd as well. He has a burner account, and he's like a legitimate like influencer within the Warriors Twitter community. And he's gonna hate me that I mentioned that on stream, but here we are. We've been talking a lot over the last couple of weeks about like, man, do you remember that moment where and I'm about to go through some of it's going to be like one of those videos. I'm going to go through the top 4 reasons that we lost this series, and what this means for the Warriors dynasty, man. Starting off, yeah, but before we get into that, no, I'll get into the chat later, but starting off, man, Jordan Poole, the Pulipino, the pool party, the baddies were not out in LA. No, that's a lie. It's LA, like bro, like there are baddies everywhere in LA, but instead we got some of the worst performances I think of the playoffs. Period. Like this dude scored game 4. This man scored 0 points and got 4 fouls. Look, I'm not saying I could do better than 0 points and 4 fouls, but what I can say without a doubt in my mind, I could give you 0 points and 4 fouls. Okay? I could do that. We're paying this man very big salary compared to a lot of the NBA players, 30 mil. And I'm not here to pocket watch, but this man's getting paid 30 mil to just chill, foul. Look at baddies. Shit like a little kid. I know, guest star Dom. I would love that. So yeah, Poole. Fucking ridiculous, bro. And you know what? The thing is, I'm gonna give him this. The front office, the managers, the people who manage the team, who manage the roster, they're putting all the weight on him to be the next Steph Curry. And it's just like, yeah, okay, he's not that guy. Like you're asking him to be one of the 5 best players to ever touch a basketball. Okay. And basically, just to dive into that a little bit, there's this whole joke within the Warriors community, the 2 timelines, right? You have the timeline of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney, like the champions, like the win now. Like this is the timeline for like, let's win the championship this next couple years, because when is another Steph Curry going to come around? When is another Draymond Green going to come around? When is another Klay going to come around? Well, granted, versions of Draymond and Klay have come out recently, but when are you going to get another Steph? Timeline number 2, you have a bunch of young guys. You have Jordan Poole. You have Jonathan Kuminga, who I'll get to in a second. Moses Moody. A lot of great young talent that definitely has potential, but it's like they're going to need a couple years to grow into the player they need to be. That's timeline number 2. And the problem is they've been balancing these 2 timelines just like very terribly, like managing it very terribly. So there's that. where are you trying to win now or are you trying to win later? And it's been a whole thing that has been messing us up all season. But anyways, back to Jordan Poole. You're expecting him to be the next Steph, but it's like you have Steph Curry on the team. And to be honest, like, man, maybe you trade Jordan Poole, because this last playoff run, he's a scorer who doesn't score, and he can't even defend. Like, he's straight up, not even that he's not defending. He's straight up hurting them on defense. Like, he's just coming in there, fouling people left and right, like watching people blow by him like it's a freaking like cone drill. Jordan Poole, don't love him at the moment, but hey, but you know what? Here's what I'll give Poole. He really has a lot of potential, bro. Like, he has potential to be an absolute machine on scoring, but it's just the maturity. He has such a bad attitude. He's always complaining to the refs. But goddamn, like he's so talented. He's so good. But yeah, no, especially because, man, LeBron and AD, they just beat us up inside, and not having another player, just having to sub in Jordan Poole, who is not a defender, can't score lately, and just has a bad attitude, like doesn't have a winning attitude, like that's tough. Next thing I want to talk about. What if I told you that the Warriors, as I said, they're getting beat up inside. What if I told you that they had a player that has the potential to be the next, like, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the next Kawhi Leonard, the next has flashes of like LeBron with the playmaking and the strength. This dude right here, Kuminga, a young player, has been exceptional in the minutes he's gotten. But Steve Kerr, as you can see here, the white man, one of the best winners in the NBA history, in NBA history ever, has won as a coach, as a player, has won as has he won as a general manager? He's just won in a lot of different scenarios. Curry, the Spurs, one of the biggest things. He's a winner, but the thing is, like, Kerr just doesn't trust these young players, and you know why? It's because of how many young players there are. There's like, out of a 15-man roster, there's 6 or 7 of them are young players. So it's a very tough rope to walk. But Steve Kerr hasn't done the best job. So fast forward to this series again. The whole time, Warriors fans are just waiting on Kuminga to get into the game, defend LeBron. You know, finally someone who can really like match LeBron's strength for strength, maybe even overpower him, because, you know, LeBron's been, 38, year 30, what is it, year 20, 38 years old, out youth him. Kuminga would have been a great factor, at least more than Poole, in my opinion. So having Poole there, it really hurt, but, substitute that for Kuminga, that could be a really interesting matchup. And now, apparently, rumor has it he wants to leave if we're not, if we don't let him, if we don't give him more minutes. So now here we are again, another potential player that could leave. And speaking of players that could leave, let's talk about fucking Draymond Green. My God, this dude is I consider Draymond a peer. You know why? Because he's a podcaster. He's not an NBA player. He's a podcaster. This man is. This dude was so bad in this Lakers series. When I tell you that he was already an LA Laker in this series, I mean that. Like, he was CTE basketball to the fullest. He was throwing the ball to the Lakers, giving them free possessions. There's at one point I remember he had the ball, he was looking to swing it, passed it automatically, and it went straight to a Lakers assistant coach, and the coach was like, "Okay, thank you." And that's basically an equivalent, like a way to encapsulate what this Warriors Lakers series was. Draymond just handing the Lakers a series. Didn't bother playing defense like he should have. Didn't bother specifically like without fouling, because my God, so many fouls, just so many, so much of this from the Lakers, so much of that, which is just so bad. Like that's dishonest basketball. That's another thing I didn't really bother getting into, but my God, him, just this all the time with Austin Reeves, just this terrible. Anyways, but anyways, yeah, this Draymond Green is a podcaster, and not only that, he's also like the main thing about Draymond to me, it's like a boxer, like a fighter who just completely lost their edge and completely lost any sort of that spark, that fire in them that made them who they are. And Draymond had that even as recent as the series prior against the Sacramento Kings. You know, he was he proceeded to stomp on Sabonis and then like rile up the crowd and be like, "I can't hear you." Da, da, da. He ended up getting suspended. But then he came back with the fire again and was like talking shit, trying to get in their head, trying to shake them, rattle them. That's what Draymond Green brings. Like, even though I am not the biggest supporter of it, I appreciate that he's willing to, like, you know, every championship team needs someone with an edge, someone who's like willing to shake shit up, and he's that guy. He physically or verbally, he will fuck you up. And I appreciate that because a lot of our players, they're very nice and very they're tough. Like Steph and Clay, they're tough. Very tough. But you know, some of the toughest you'll ever see, but you need someone who's like outwardly projecting that's being the kind of shit talker. But Draymond, man, this Lakers series, he was so polite. So polite. Like, so just like, "Here, LeBron, you want to lay up? Here you go. Here you go, buddy. Hey, you want me to turn the ball over right now? Here you go. There you go." Draymond, man. And then yeah, he's gone on this tour. He's gone on this media tour lately, which is what Curry is alluding to here. Altercation between Jordan Poole and Draymond. If you guys don't know, there's a Draymond. There's a video of Draymond and Jordan Poole, news leaked of him punching. Here, let me just play the video. So there's Draymond. They're talking shit. Okay. As they do. This is their relationship. Draymond walks over to Jordan Poole over there on the left and chest to chest, push, and then boom. Punch. That happened at the beginning of the season, like literally during training camp. I think they're about to show it again. That happened at the beginning of the season, and it's tough. And you know who knows who watched it or who leaked it within the organization? It's like perfect video footage, and there's a couple of things that result from that punch. Was Jordan Poole goes from having a rookie contract, like $5 million, to, as an apology from the management, he gets $30 million for the next 4 years. Kind of crazy. And another thing that Draymond Green kind of alluded to was because of this punch and kind of the negative outlook on him from that point on, from the team, from his fellow teammates, he wasn't able to lead like he typically does during a regular season. Like he doesn't coach his players up. If they're making mistakes, he's not able to be like, "Hey, what you should do this. He's not able to coach him up as much as he'd like, and that ended up in a lot of slippage, a lot of bad habits that shout out Ed Sheeran, that just didn't go unchecked due to this punch. So Draymond Green, biggest L award, winner of the Kanye West award, potentially. And look, Curry asked this earlier. Would I mind Draymond leaving? Let me hold that question for one last slide, because Draymond Green, just to wrap my points up in a nice little bow, very polite, unusually polite this series, uh, very tight, very sloppy play, and just didn't help. And it culminated in like the final frame of the series when the Lakers win, they move on to the next round. You see Steph Curry, he's pissed off, he's tired. Clay is pissed off, and you just see Draymond laughing it up with LeBron, dabbing him up. Hey, that was so fun. And if you guys don't know, Draymond's agent is LeBron's best friend, Rich Paul. That happened like after like 2018, and since then, that's kind of been the mark of like Draymond's steep decline as a player. So, yeah, no, it's for me, it's been Draymond like just needs to grow up, bro. Like, just needs to grow up and grow his game. Like, he hasn't shot the ball in forever. Doesn't train to shoot the ball. So yeah, there's that. Last but not least, I want to talk about this one's gonna hurt because I love Klay Thompson, man. I love Klay Thompson. My grandma, my Lola, in Tagalog, my Lola loved Klay Thompson, and I asked her why. I was like, hey, you seem awfully invested in Klay. And she said, yeah, because he reminds me of me, when I played basketball. Because when Klay is playing bad, like, you see him just like getting down on himself and getting frustrated. But then when he goes off, it's like, oh shit, like, it's him. He's him. And Klay, man, I love Klay, but he just did not have it for whatever reason. Because it all started, man. So just some backstory in case people here aren't necessarily Warriors fans. Klay Thompson 4 years ago got two of the worst injuries you could get back to back: a torn Achilles and a torn ACL. Both injuries that cost you a year. That typically amazing players have trouble getting back to getting back to the form that they were before the injuries. Klay Thompson gets those injuries back to back and proceeds to have a very good playoff run. I think he came back last season. He wasn't 100% Klay, but he was good enough, and he bought into his role, and was able to provide some key shots at key moments, and it ended up with them winning the championship. Fast forward to the off season, the summer, he's like, hey, I'm about to turn it up. I'm about to be the all-star Klay that you guys know and love. We're like, sure, fuck it. Like, I love Klay Thompson. To witness Klay moments would just be, icing on the cake, because there was a time where I didn't even know if we would get that again. Terrible start to the regular season. Shooting terribly, out of shape. Shooting selfishly too, like shooting like 20 shots a game. Like, bro, what are you doing? Then you get, and then he kind of finds his groove. He ends up having, from, I think, December till April, like the middle third of the season, he ends up having like the some of the best scoring months of his whole career. Like, even better than before the season. And then his defense has been, lackluster. There's a joke my brother and I like to say, the fat man Klay defense. There was a tweet that was like, yo, Klay plays defense like a fat man, where he's just like out of breath and he's just like watching people blow by him, So that's been a thing for sure. And then you go into the playoffs, and going into the Lakers series, he says, which I knew was going to just be the kiss of death. He says, playing against the Lakers at Crypto Arena, he goes, I'm going to play as hard as I can for Kobe and to honor Kobe and Gigi, to honor Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant, who, Rest in peace. At that point, I was like, shit. Like he's in over his head. Like he thinks he's like the main character of this, and sure enough, shoots the shit out the ball, bricks so many shots, doesn't play defense, is just looking out for himself, and it was just a tough watch for me, man. Because Klay Thompson, again, like one of my favorite players, the second greatest shooter of all time, the most like combustible player. Like if he's hot, like you just give him the ball and let him cook. Like he's so like his hands are just on fire whenever he can go off. But he was just so bad, and he's literally just trying to recapture 2019 Clay, and I hate that, man, because if you want to win a championship, everyone's gonna have to sacrifice, and for it to be one of the veterans, one of the veteran players who you're supposed to trust, with like I said, there's already so many young players who are inexperienced that don't know what they're doing. To have one of the experienced players try to try to, you know, like be the main character in his story, and to be honest with you, he's like one of the supporting cast members. He's not the main character. For him to not get that through his head, it just fucked him up for the rest of the series. So go back to your question, Curry, with regards to Clay and Draymond. That's where we're at, man. That's where I'm talking about when I say we could be witnessing the death of the Warriors dynasty. Oh, I've said that a couple times already, like with my brother, but saying that into the internet where this is gonna live forever is crazy. The death of the Warriors dynasty could be signified by either one of Clay or Dre, or potentially both, leaving the Warriors, and that sucks because as long as I can remember, Clay and Draymond, they've been part of the team, and I mean not since I can remember. Like obviously, like they were on the team, but I just remember us drafting them, being like, wow, like these, and really witnessing their career blossom right before my very eyes. And witnessing that was such an enjoyable ride, and for it to end on such a whimper, like when I tell you guys, Game 6, he out of 19 shots, he only made 3. Again, I'm not saying I could play better, but I could give you 3 shots out of 19. I could give you that. It was so bad. It looked so bad, and you could tell that there's this moniker that he's developed over the last couple of years called Game 6 Clay. Basically, every Game 6 of a series, he's like a god. There's history to back this up. He's had a couple great Game 6s. But man, like this one sucked, and it single-handedly killed Game 6 Clay. It was some bullshit, man. It was some bullshit. So wait, no, all right. Y'all have been teasing this Beyonce Kendrick. Nah, bruh. Wow, you guys are for real. Damn. Okay. Okay. Okay, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? Wow. Okay. We're gonna we're gonna we're gonna hop on playback, I think. So yeah, no. All that to say, the Warriors dynasty. I just laid out the whole blueprint, the whole lecture of, yeah, this shit is not working anymore, and something's got to change. Some people, things are changing. Management looks like it's gonna change. The player lineup is looking like it's gonna change. But yeah, it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Head over to Playback TV. I'm about to open it up right now. Hold up. You're literally about to watch me open it up. Here. So if you guys want to come through, okay. I'm opening it. I'm leaving it in the chat again. All right, y'all. Playback TV. I'm about to go in there. We're about to watch, listen, react to this Kendrick Lamar Beyonce thing. Um, Remix for America Has a Problem. Also, we'll probably listen to some other music. Check that out. Chill. If you guys feel like jumping in and talking to me, I would love that. If you guys want to jump up and ask to invite as a speaker, that'd be great. But yeah, I will see you guys there. That'll be where we're at. Great stream. Really enjoy talking to you guys as always. This has been My Thoughts Live. Again, Playback TV in the chat. And you know what? I'll just stay on here until like it's really up and going. But yeah, guys, hope you guys can come through there. Okay, it is up. We're going live. We're doing it again. That is, you guys literally just witnessed me make this playback lobby because this is about to be fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, final call. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Final call. Thank you guys for coming through again. I know this is kind of an abrupt ending to it, but let's go listen to some music. I was really craving going on playback, and I think this is the perfect time for that. So again, you guys, thank you for coming through. See you guys there. Link in the chat. Yeah, hopefully Matt comes through next week. So yeah.